Alright, so we're basically at the point where I'm blind in Lost Odyssey. We had a kind of cool sequence that involved the main character, who's an immortal, meeting his daughter, who is grown up and already has like kids. So the main character has grandkids. It's fairly unusual for a JRPG. I think this was me. Oh, it's got to be the lower one, right? This one. That looks like that's more an agreement. And there's stuff that I think I got partway into disc 2. I got into some dungeon when I played this, where I've spent like an hour and a half running through it and got wiped in a random battle and lost all my progress, and it like depressed me, so I didn't put it back in. I ended up switching to a different game. But after the part where you meet your daughter and your grandkids and there's a funeral, I pretty much don't remember anything after that. That was the most significant thing that stuck with me. It was a bummer because it was a really cool scene from a narrative perspective. Like I said, how many games do you play as a grandpa? But I don't think the game spent enough time familiarizing yourself with your grandkids or with your daughter for it to really have any meaning for the player. It may have been intentional in the respect that, like, the main character is an amnesiac, so he himself doesn't actually remember this girl until after he sees her. Maybe it's kind of intentional. Sorry, one sec. The Xbox fan is really loud now, too. It's not dying. Remove it. Let me know if I sound too robotic. Pretty attenuated. Alright, let's try to progress here. Got the two little kids in our team. I don't think we've had an opportunity to check them out yet. They're not immortals, right? Yeah, of course not. Oh, just a little girl for now. Saint Rod. Give her a random ring, I guess. She can't learn stuff from accessories the way that the immortal characters can. Earrings worn by princess sorcerers, healing power. I like to have her have access to magic for now, so we have more characters who can do that. I think we just have to exit this area completely to progress. That seems to be correct. Oh man, we didn't get a memory last session. We're so close to one. Here we go. Best part of Lost Odyssey. Japanese author writes like 100 short stories about this immortal guy that aren't necessarily very connected to the actual main plot. They're really well written, and they're often extremely depressing. It is cool kinetic typography stuff. Rolling farmland spread out before him. Kime harvests vegetables, wielding his hoe with deep concentration. The sky in this autumn evening is a deep crimson. Maybe we should call it a day, says the heavy-set woman who owns the farm. She drops an armload of vegetables into the basket. Kime nods and wipes the sweat from his brow. You're a tremendous help, says the woman. Look how much we've done. Kime responds to her praise with a slight nod. You still can't remember where you came from? She asks. I wonder if he's bullshitting or if he actually doesn't remember at the time. Afraid not. Well, the way you work, she says with an easy laugh. I don't care if you're from the moon. Don't tempt Sakaguchi, he'll make the character come from the moon. Seriously, Kime, what do you do when the harvest ends? I don't know yet. I haven't made up my mind. Plenty of work to do here, even in winter, she says. It'd be fine with me if you wanted to stay on a while longer. Thank you, says Kime. She herself is a hard worker and a warm human being. It's not a life that allows for luxuries, but going out to the fields at dawn every day and ending work as the sun goes down softens the heart even as it toughens the body. And her right, sir? He's working in a Stardew Valley. As we prepare to leave the field, a small bell begins to ring. The hour is still somewhat early for the church's evening bell. Kime glances down the road at the base of the hill. The funeral procession advances slowly along the road, the mourners surrounding a horse bearing a coffin. The woman sets her hoe on the ground, removes her headscarf, and clasps her hands together. Kime scans the hills to find that all the other workers on the surrounding farms are doing the same thing, clasping their hands, bowing their heads, and closing their eyes in the direction of the passing funeral. Kime follows their example. The old man leading the funeral procession swings a little bell. Swinging echoes among the hills. Oh, bummer, by chaos. That's the best part, too. The mourners pass in silence, the women in black veils, the men in black coats, heads bowed. Children in the rear elbow each other playfully, unaware of the meaning of death. Comment on. When the funeral is past, the woman raises her head and blinks her moistened eyes. The one who passed away is going home, she says. Home? Kime asks, somewhat startled. Home, to the soil, to the sky, to the sea, like all living things. Oh, that's a pretty negative thing to mention to someone who's immortal, right? If there is such a thing as home and they can't die. Kime nods in silent recognition. How many deaths has he seen in this endlessly long life of his? All those people leave this world of ours and we never see them again. In that sense, death is an infinitely sad event. If, however, we think that in dying they go back to their homes somewhere, a certain comfort and even joy comes to mingle with the sadness. But Kime, who could never grow old or die, can never go home. This author has a kind of pattern of referring repeatedly to Kime not being able to die in every story. It's kind of cool. The woman scoops up a handful of earth and says with deep feeling, many lives have become a part of this soil, the lives of tiny living things we can't see, the lives of withered grass. If you think about it that way, our vegetables are made for us by the lives of many others. I see. Can I ask you a favor, Kime? Of course. If I should die while you're working here, would you scatter some of my ashes on this field for me? A handful would do. Kime's at a loss for words. He forces a smile. Husband dead, children on their own. The woman lives by herself on the farm. Kime knows that if he goes on working here, like it or not, he will eventually have to watch over the woman's deathbed. Even if she were to die 100, 200 years from now. Thanks, sir. Church bell rings, signaling the end of the workday. The woman clasps her hands before her as she did when the funeral passed. We're allowed to come safely through one more day. For this I give my heartfelt thanks. May tomorrow be another healthy day for me. Her voice in prayer resounds forcefully in Kime's breast. This happens every time he hears the church's evening bell, and the conviction overtakes him that he does not belong here. Interesting. Ma'am, he says to the woman after the last chime resounds. Yes? Wouldn't you see that people give thanks for each safe day and pray for good fortune in the day to come because they know their lives will end? What's wrong, Kime? That's a dark thing to say. I'll be leaving the village when the harvest is over. Why all of a sudden? What's happened? I have no right to live here, he says. Ignoring her stupefaction, Kime lifts the vegetable basket in both arms. He takes another good, long look at the setting sun. Where will you go, Kime, if you leave here? I don't know. Somewhere. Does he keep wandering like this? I don't have any place to go home to. Placing the basket onto his shoulder, he starts down the hill. His back glows red in the setting sun. Wow, that's actually one of the more positive stories. It's like you get into it like, oh, that woman's totally going to die and he's going to scatter her ashes. It just sounds like he's just tired and he doesn't want to bother with it, you know? That was really cool with the bells as we're running back. Dude, I need to move the Xbox. It is straining. It's got tons of room to vent. It's a very loud machine. Xbox One consoles can't play Xbox 360 discs, right? You have to download games to play on there. I don't know if you can transfer your saves either. Maybe it's just time for me to upgrade.
You know war's a tankless job. Apparently not.
Tankless job. Ah! Oh, Jansen.
Damn, they must be planning to invade Ura.
Save again. Yeah, I'm just gonna start overwriting the old save. It's getting hard to tell which one is which. I could always go in and delete them later too, maybe. Bunch of fools. We're not on the world map. I wonder when that happens. Really like this town theme. I'm actually going to go back out there and check what goes out the eastern exit before I come back into town. Crimson Forest. Might be more things I should shop for later, but I haven't had like actual combat in a long time. I think the last 2 sessions were all story and towns. There was that one instance where the guards ambushed us, which is kind of a pain.
There's a reason this forest has been crimson for years.
Isn't it just the color of autumn leaves? Although, it is incredibly intense.
The reason the Queen forbade entry was because the Crimson Forest is cursed, stained with blood. It's also called the Forest of Sorrow.
What? Blood?
Blood?
Don't be a wimp.
500 years ago, wasn't it? Huh?
Oh, that.
Well, what? Tell me.
500 years ago, a country to the east invaded Numara. This forest is now
really like whimsical
the
forest
color
music.
of the blood from those who fell in that battle. Who knows how many thousands of forgotten soldiers lie beneath the soil, staining this forest red for eternity.
Ellipsis. Well, let's save, because there's probably a bunch of enemies here. Anyone who's listening, is there anything weird with the mic? I'm kind of going crazy over here watching my... I have a system, a piece of software that shows all the sounds coming through, and it shows a sound constantly triggering. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. This is my first time playing a 360 game in the new Stream Office, so my first time realizing that it's super loud where I have it placed. Okay, thank you. I will panic less. By the Eastern Tribe. Don't know any spirit magic. So maybe is the mechanic of learning spirit magic, or a character that is a spirit magician? Interesting. Hey, Doomy.
This does not look good!
I'm looking forward to playing Final Fantasy XII again. I waited in line and bought it at midnight on the day it came out. Took a week off of work and just played it as fast as possible, and as a result remember nothing from it, unfortunately. Magic defense, physical defense, just attacking. Try doing ground. Well, was it Prism I think hits everybody? It's a slightly better magician, I believe. Combination. These are like the Mughals for Lost Odyssey. Oh, I thought they were gonna merge into a different creature, so they're just doing an attack area. Just good. Continue. Called kilolons, which I think the Japanese would be kerolon, right? Which kind of sounds like the Japanese onomatopoeia for ribbit. Oh, they got a little mage one. That's pretty cute. Hey, Kato. We missed a story, but it was one of the weaker ones. It wasn't quite as, like, depressing. Just like, fine, like, I'm gonna leave before this gets depressing. You get those perfects more often, right? Wow, this enemy has a lot of hit points. Don't flee! Oh, that sucks. I bet they give a bunch of XP, since they get summoned in and have a lot of hit points. Oh yeah, Hunter. The one with his daughter, grandkids. Cook learn prayer. How does Cook learn shit? Fucking metal slimes, exactly. Prayer. So that just must be something that she's able to... She just learns that as she level ups. Oh, levels up, right, because then you can do skill link with the immortal characters and they can learn their abilities. Gotcha. Reduces the spellcasting time for one party member of the user. I think we want everyone to have that, right? Already learned all of their abilities. See how good prayer is. It's on the YouTubes.
Let's take him down.
Those are not cute frog monsters, okay. Guess fire, maybe? That costs MP to use, interesting. This is free? Is she like Bannon in Final Fantasy 6? Let's try it. You're on the teams. Oh no. Okay, I thought it was going to be an actual like Dragoon enemy. Cute frog monster, pick 2. Having a free out-of-combat heal stun, or in, I guess it's combat only, but it's free in combat, which is nice. Dick. Matt can cook, Hallam and Porom, right? I was within like a frame of being perfect. I think it's gotta be on 37 to be perfect. Little number at the top of the screen where the ring is zooming in. Cold water stone. Dreams, equip. I guess Mactus isn't an acting party member. Doesn't appear to do anything yet.
No one gets in our way.
Yeah. Soul Eater Bug. Now, we learned recently that you can change rings in combat and it doesn't use your turn, which is fucking crazy. So insects. You guys probably count as organic, right? Organic, gotcha. I'll leave the soul ring on, it's fine. Curious, how much does this reduce the spellcasting time for the user? Yeah. 36 to 37 maybe? It's only in battle. I think providing the ability to like hot swap builds without it requiring a turn is really important for turn-based RPGs to improve your options sometimes. Like, I like that Persona, you know, lets you swap once per turn for free for the character who's able to do it. Let's see. It doesn't always have to be free. Sometimes it can be an interesting choice to pay for it or not, you know? Let me get him a way to get his MP back. I currently don't have that. Stealing the mode. But, like, I guess my point, though, is the rings are a really interesting mechanic, and they're less interesting if you can't switch them in battle, which I didn't know when I played this before. I probably would have had a lot easier time with this game if I had known that. I think somebody pointed it out in, like, 3rd or 4th hour against the boss fight. Like, you know you can switch rings in battle for free, right? And I was like, what? Yeah, you totally can, no problem. Oh, that's interesting. So if she uses her support ability, she no longer takes actions for the rest of the combat. I don't know if that's good or not. Keep that in mind.
What a waste of time.
It would be annoying if, like, you know, you needed to use the proper ring for a fight, and the only way to know what ring you needed to use was to do the fight and lose, and then start the fight over with a different ability, right? You kind of get that occasionally with the non-protagonist characters in Persona. At least in Persona 3, it's less brutal in 4. Where, like, you'll get to a boss fight and you'll find out, oh, if I have this character who's weak to ice, then I just lose the fight. It's unwinnable, so now I have to reload. If you could swap the party members in combat, it wouldn't be a problem. You could eat the damage one turn, swap them out.
Looks like we got a good chance.
Best average value? I know, right, Hunter? I had no idea. When we found that out in that boss fight, I was like, oh my god, really? That makes that so much easier. Magic elemental enemies, huh? I would have assumed, even if I had noticed it, that it would have taken up an entire turn to switch, which wouldn't feel like it would be worth it, you know? Oh, it's a guard condition. I didn't realize that was in the back. That makes sense. Like, why am I not doing enough damage here? Haha. Interesting. The bug in the back eats the little fairies and gets stronger. That's cool. too bad. It was just short of killing all of them. Overhead. You tell him. Uh-oh. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Oh. Could have been way worse. Yikes.
I am the greatest!
Very nearly game over there. It looks like we're getting a shit ton of XP for these fights, which is also kind of worrisome. Have 4 health though, I know, right? Alright, let's heal people, maybe. We can use Kaim to do it, because he can, gain MP with his attack pretty easily. I'm not going to use his MP for much else. How's that skill link treating us right now? Okay, almost. And something else. Oh, I should see if I can equip any new accessories, maybe? Yeah. It's kind of a waste tool. Ability to always flee from battle. Recovers MP when defend is used. That seems pretty frickin' important. Like, I need these guys to be able to use that soon. Okay, so as soon as I get a chance, I need to learn more of those. Ring assembly, I just got a new, let's see, training ring? Ooh, that's cool. Yes, please. Dinner of Champions. For sure. I think this is the game where if you save, when you load your save, you're at full health.
Say your prayers!
But save points on their own don't fill your health for whatever reason. Right, water elementals, so I can do this. I guess I don't have anything that inflicts extra damage on water enemies, huh? So I can try to hope that they're weak against fire. I don't know what else they would be weak against. Let me get my MP back, it's more important. Probably for her too. We're gonna get him that circlet so he can just defend every turn and get his MP back. So this may as well have him steal something. Shit. That was the wrong character to get a perfect. That should be time.
Okay.
Oh boy, everyone just got poisoned. Fantastic. I don't remember if that lasts outside of combat or not. Oh, poison sucks for your guard condition. Shit. Come on, first try. Shit.
Okay.
Really, like, the default thing everybody says is okay. Oh, interesting. Poison can kill you, not just reduce you to 1 hit point in this game. Lesson learned. Shit. 3 in a row I fucked up. Jansen hits him pretty hard, actually. I guess I need to use Seth to heal. I'm able to land that perfect on her pretty regularly, and she's at full MP. Jansen in level 3 black magic. That's new. Probably want to switch to that soon. Let's see. I kind of want the full heal, so I think I'm going to do the load your save trick. See if there's a faster way to do it other than pulling up the dashboard. Is there a system option to do that maybe? Oh, yeah, just quit game. Oh, it's easy. That's so weird that they would have that as a feature. And then it's that easy to just quit and reload to get a full save. Huh. It should be this one, presumably. I have to do this all the time, but if I use a shit ton of resources and everybody's like depleted on an MP, it's probably worth it. It's got extended resting at the end sequence. Yeah, everyone's full. It's so strange. I wonder if that's just an oversight. They intended for save points to heal you at some point. Yeah. But given that it's like so trivial to do that, it's just annoying. It's that same old rule, like, if something's trivial but annoying, just make it automatic, make the save points heal you, right? It worked fine in Final Fantasy X. I feel like that would let you be a little bit more aggressive with your resource usage, which is important for the mage characters who are useless if they don't use the resources.
I wonder if he slipped. You know, that kid's not too bright after all.
Oops.
Mac must be ahead of us. Let's go.
FF10 just balanced everything around that assumption, right? So if there was a save point, they could be fairly certain that you were maxed out in capability. Your swamp. Going on skill links here, buddies. Almost. One more battle and we'll have it. Hello. More seeds. Ouch. It's just like Blue Dragon, you gotta freak out and mash the confirm button everywhere. It's satisfying, it's a good way to make sure you see all the cool art assets. But... Oh, you're healed after every battle in 13? Right on. I ended up doing that in my very video gamey house-ruled 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons game. Like, you regained all resources after every battle. It just made it easier for me to balance the combats. If I could count on the whole party having all their resources each time. Hardened is a new element type. I haven't seen that before. This one's in the front, so we're going to attack it first. We'll look out and it's weak against fire. Let's give it a try. I don't need MP anymore. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. And that's the equivalent of like regenerating health, right? It lets you design each encounter separately without having to account for has the player run into enough health packs at this point in the game. But if they've squandered them, that sort of thing. I think you can still do games that don't have regenerating health well. Like, I guess the new Doom has this ballet system, for lack of a better term, where you're constantly moving between melee combat and ranged combat to exchange whether you're getting more ammo or more health packs. I could see that Aki fall, yeah. If you don't like when save points heal, then having tents is probably bad too. It quickly becomes easy to have an effectively unlimited number of tents. Oh, that makes sense too, Spiky. What does the mine ability do? I don't think I've seen that before. I guess what you do there is you have to treat... Oh, mine is like thorns, it looks like. That's cool. I think the correct thing to do with saving is you shouldn't even have save points. Like, you should be able to save the game at will outside of combat. Inside of combat, if you're able to do so without putting yourself in an unwinnable game state. It looks like a lot of handheld games achieve that. I think that's edict from Nintendo, that you have to let the players save whenever they want. And then if you're going to have like a healing station, put those in the game separately from save points. Yeah, Dark Souls is the best. Auto-save, man. Okay. That's exactly right. I think the system of continuous saves is better too. I don't know, I feel more invested in the game when I know that everything happens is permanent, and I can't think in my mind, you know, I could just reload and get around that. In a game where you can't get into an unwinnable game state, like it was always possible to win in XCOM. I probably would have played it on Iron Man mode, so that would have been really interesting. But because you can actually soft lock the game by being too weak, I didn't think that was a good idea for stream. Shit out of that bug.
Oh, that was easy.
Concentrate, anti-sleep. Sick. Guessing Mac is a spirit mage, and that's why there's all this spirit magic stuff we can't do anything with. I suppose that's true though, Spiky, yeah. Later games have corrected for that, right? They have like, you can kill the NPC, but... How does it work? After you kill them, they, you can like pay a cost to continue to use them as if they were alive. Is that how Dark Souls 2 did it? Something like that? I think that's a bad design of having that be bound to an NPC that you can kill, right? At the end of the day. Well, he ate the one that was almost dead. Slower. Bummer. Bug is weak against fire, I'm not sure though. Nice. fight is basically like, you had better kill him in a single turn after you kill all the little ads, or you're gonna have a bad time, right? So you might want to leave one of the ads alive, too. Oh, I didn't get the blood-sucking thing, that's too bad. Kindle and relax, settle and concentrate. Heal really quick. Let me split it up between Kym and Seth. Both have a fairly decent chance of getting the bonus MP from their rings, right? Alright, so we gotta change their equipped accessories. Does he really not have level 2 black magic? Oh. Right on. Skilling's gotta be done though, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Oh, that sounds good. Angel Heart, boost the amount of HP restored by healing magic? Yes, please. Spending level 3 black magic would be nice at some point too. I think I have some excess skill seeds that I'm not using right now too. Double check their ring equips here. That's there later. Probably for when we get Mac. That looks like progress. I'm gonna go save really quick. Keep my stuff that I've got. Oh, I didn't see that, Yukubo. I'm glad to hear that because, like, the whole, hey, you get free online gaming for, like, 6 months, but, like, 3 of those months aren't gonna have any online games to play. Did you guys play the... I didn't get to talk about this on stream. I played the ARMS beta at, Polar Brewski's house with Brewski and Nodovan and Andrea. Did anyone else get to check it out? I thought it was pretty decent. Like, I might get the game when it comes out and play it on stream on like launch day. Let's see. It could be fun to do for multiplayer, maybe. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Cool characters, good gameplay. I ended up preferring using buttons over motion control, but hey, who's shocked there? The fundamental problem with motion control is that, like, it can't stop you from holding the controllers in the wrong position, if that makes sense. So, like, if you want to block in ARMS, you have to do this. You have to point the Joy-Cons at each other. And there's nothing the game can do after you're finished blocking to stop you from continuing holding your hands like this and to keep punching. And that's where you get situations where you're like trying to tell the game to do something and it's not working. Once we find a way to solve for that, some sort of force feedback system, it's probably also an issue in VR where your hands can keep doing something, like you can push your hand through a table, you know? You don't have that resistance. Didn't try them out much, Joe. Yeah, exactly. So the other thing that was frustrating with the test punch was that it's like you could try to play with 2 people, so you could do 2v2, which is kind of cool. Like your characters are tethered together, and there's interesting mechanics around that. But in the test punch, for whatever reason, you couldn't say I just want to do 2v2s. It would just randomly assign you to someone who is either playing by themselves or in like a 4v4. And whenever that would happen, you wouldn't get to play with the other person, and you'd have to take turns, basically. So I'm hoping the actual game has different cues that you can pick between instead. So really weird decision. And Cook's paralyzed, of course. Really gotta kill those bugs first. I feel like the primary mission objective for any multiplayer game in any genre, if it's meant to be co-op or PvP, it doesn't matter. Like, it should be very easy to play with your friends. You shouldn't have to, like, sacrifice a goat. Say a prayer during the blood moon if you want to play with your friends. That should be something they focus on early in development. It's frustrating that Nintendo hasn't quite gotten that right in a lot of things. Yeah, so guarding is actually extremely useful if you're playing with buttons. And you can just hold the guard button because it like makes your next attack stronger. There's certain characters like the mummy guy that regenerate health when he's guarding. But exactly, like, it's not that the controls aren't accurate, because they are. It's that you're flawed as a gamer when using motion controls. And what the game wants you to do is to always be in like this default neutral position and revert to that neutral position after taking any action, and that's extremely hard to do. Like, the gamepad equivalent of a neutral position is like letting your finger off the button, right? That's all you have to do. Are you pressing it, yes or no? Not, are you maintaining this perfect stance with the two Joy-Cons held in exactly parallel to each other? It's really, really hard. Sure, yeah, no, that makes sense, Yukiko. I think you could practice and get good with them. Like, I don't think it's a flaw of the Joy-Cons in that case. It's just a reality of motion control. Until we put you in some kind of machine that has force feedback and forces your hands back into a default position, what are they going to do, you know? Maybe there's ways to solve that with vibration or something. Like, I could see, I haven't played any VR games that this has mattered in, but if you had a VR game where you wanted to, like, put your hand on a table, obviously you can't stop a person from pushing their hand through the table, right? But you could maybe make an increasingly intense vibration sensation the further into the table they get to let them know, don't do that. Right? Maybe that's what it needs for something like ARMS. When you're not in a neutral position, it starts vibrating really hard to remind you. Let me try... These things seem bad. I would guess that they explode based on video games. And the fact that they're called balloons. Let's try casting Aqua on the two of them, maybe that'll be enough to kill them each. Yeah, it's one of those games where, like, when it works really well. But when it doesn't work, it's really annoying. Actively unfun. It's not doing what you expect. Oh, okay. That's not like a Final Fantasy bomb. Significantly less brutal than I was expecting. It was huge, exactly. Yeah, I don't know how you do that with motion controls. With buttons, you could put there's if you press right on the right stick, or you just move the right stick, it automatically changes who you're targeting, like Dark Souls. Angel Heart, level 3 white magic. Cool. I guess Cook is more of a... I guess maybe Jansen's like a red mage, and Cook's a dedicated white mage. That's cool. So that's skill link. Let's give prayer to everybody. Although, like, they're such useful characters, they're probably not going to be stuck using prayer. Everyone gets level 3 white magic. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that's a super bummer. Cure Seal. Oh, Cure Seal. Remove the seal status. Weak barrier that absorbs damage and protects the party member it surrounds. Now we have to identify spells, that's right. Turns one party member into a frog or removes frog status. It's not the most exciting set of abilities, to be honest. Hang on to my slot C's until I have 2 of them. Sort everything, driving me crazy over here. Do I have enough bloodsucker rings yet? I have 2 more. Seals need healthcare too. Puro. Yes, it has a name that's a lot more threatening than what it actually did, right, Hunter? Alright, well, we know he's gonna eat this thing. But this is the thing that actually drops the blood-sucking needle, and I don't know if it drops it if he eats it, right? So I could try killing it before he has a chance to get to it. Which would require using the water ring, I think. It's weak against water. Fantastic. Back to full NP with them. Yeah, it's a good call, you play. This game has really good enemy design. Really solid Sakaguchi RPG. Let me put her back on the Soul Ring. Okay. So as long as I get good with like landing those ring perfect attacks, then I can consistently keep everybody healed. Just have them relax. Yeah, right, Hunter? It's Lil. When she first gets like, I know that voice! Need a blind, reveals items carried by enemies, to gain the status of enemies. Okay. Alright, now you guys can start recovering MP in theory. So I have to get another circlet. We'll see how much MP recovery it is. It might not even be significant. Oops, just a kind. I think by the time I get back to the story progression point, I'm gonna have to like backtrack again to save to wrap up for today, so I don't want to trend too far. I would like to get a few more blood-sucking needles. How many do I need? 2 still. So maybe the correct thing to do is to go back to the save point now and just do a little bit of grinding for the session. And then we'll be better off for the next boss fight.
Are you
So
some
we have
kind
about
of
5
being?
minutes left. Whoa! It's a metal kilo. I didn't know these were in the game. Alright. Seed of Terror drop. I have to crit it, presumably? Shit. You know, these are rare enough, I think. Let me just look up how to fight them. How to beat Silver Kilo. How do I beat... There's a spell called Gamble that can do a lot of damage, and you have everyone else use casting support to make them go faster. We don't have access to Gamble yet, so I guess I'll just physically attack him and hope for the best. I think they're immune to just about everything. Little dance. Yeah, I don't know what Gamble is. I assume that it's just something that does a random amount of damage.
I am the greatest!
The thread I pulled up says you have to learn it from a specific quest that's related to the frog guys, the Kilolums. So it's like they know that that's the correct way to fight them, like fishing for crits in Dragon Quest. Yeah, I guess you have all your party members who don't have Gamble use casting support, which increases the spellcasting time, or decreases the spellcasting time so they can cast it faster. And the casters all use Gamble. And I guess that they don't actually give that many experience points, but they do give a shit ton of SP, so that's where you go to farm SP. Strong on average. Strong against, especially when an enemy has like 200 hit points, right? And it's guaranteed to land. That makes sense, yeah. Still learning there. Have they... skill links? Fortitude. It's probably the last battle we do.
Let's take him down.
Wrap up. How they withhold the monsters from you. One thing that I dislike about this game, and I like this game very much, is that it takes forever for combat to start. Like, there's really... maybe it's loading something. Maybe the reason it's not showing you the enemies is that it's trying to pop them into the combat, but... there's a good 20 seconds per battle where you're just waiting for it to begin. I really appreciate any games that remove a lot of that interstitial crap. Like talking about Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess versus Breath of the Wild, Minish Cap, how long everything takes in comparison. I think it's masking load times. That could be. That's probably better than a long load time. Like, I'd rather there be a cool animation. It's probably why they don't show you the enemies.
What a waste of time.
What a waste of time. Life is pain kind. Cool. Thank you, Hunter. This game is still a treat. And it's now cheaper to vote for on the voting spreadsheet if you wanted to see more Lost Odyssey for longer than an hour at a time. We're going to sign off. I'll give you guys a heads up of what's coming up next, and we'll go ahead and vodcast more of Earthbound. I think that there's only enough time left in Earthbound that it'll... oh, there's a small enough amount of time left in Earthbound that it will be done before tomorrow's stream, so feel free to tune in for part of that. It was my first ever stream, and it's pretty cringy. Alright.